Good evening. This is Unplug 'em once again. Heavenly Father, Almighty Abba, Ahaya Yahweh, I ask right now that you guide my tongue, guide my mind, guide my heart to be in alignment with your will. Let me decrease and let you be seen. Let me be unseen as we take it to the unclean. In the name of Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus of Nazareth, it is so. Just a real quick one, and this one will be quick. Please believe that. We're going to talk about the Shendyt. What's that? The Shiznit? No, the Shendyt. The Shendyt, this is something for my brothers and sisters who are still trapped in Egypt. Some of you are trapped in Egypt unknowingly. You've been trapped in Egypt, which is a place of mystery and wonder and history for those who have been too long kept down under. And for a lot of brothers and sisters, they are directed by the black leadership, who is by and large controlled by secret societies. The Jesuit control the Nation of Islam and other aspects of secret societies. Also, you have the Zionist agenda that is also used to keep certain belief systems in the black community and keep others out. A lot of the brothers and sisters have been caught up in Egypt, but guess what? We're not the only ones. Some of you who are caught up in metaphysics, who overstand a certain level of high-level thinking and consciousness, higher consciousness, which is a beautiful thing. I like thinking. I don't like game goofy goobers. But we have to understand where the line is to be drawn at. And that can be a difficult thing because there is a conspiracy to keep you from understanding where that line should be properly drawn at. So this is a little bit for those individuals who fall in those classes and categories, and also for a particular brother of mine who, because of his culture, has chosen to wear a particular style of cultural dress. And, you know, man, do as thou wilt. You know, we have the right, the legal right, to do whatever we want to. But as representatives of Jesus here on the earth, there are certain things that Jesus turned aside that were a part of his culture, a part of his tradition. And he went hard on the Pharisees and Sadducees every time they tried to throw that traditional stuff up in his face and keep him locked in that box. It's part of being locked in the box of books. Now that's a fire. Nice fire. But we're all wise and civilized, and we don't fall to the tricks in the mix like that. So we're going to break through that bond, breaking every chain. There is indeed a chain, a thing that keeps you linked back. Religion, to rely on something, and also to religion, to keep you connected to a legion again and again and again. And so we want to break those bonds and free folks as much as we can. While we got a little light, I had to come out here because I got my canine friend a little chew toy or whatnot, and it was beckoning for me to come out here, and the spirit was beckoning for me to give this lesson, which came because of a brother who had the same name, ironically, as the brother who I'm thinking about with the cultural dress. And I don't believe in coincidence. And so I even wondered, I said, well, you know, the brother with the same name, he had a question that required some deliverance. And so I thought, wow, well, you know, this same brother also needs some deliverance from his cultural bond. It is a bond, please believe it. And unfortunately, all cult tradition, your custom, come from a costume, something that you wear to identify yourself with a particular tribe or region. But a custom and a costume both have to do with duality, putting yourself in the outfit to look like fallen angels. Fallen angels brought those things down here. They brought them down here to Egypt first and foremost. Yes, indeed. Sorry, the Uraeus gives us clue to that. What is the Uraeus? It's the little snake, the little cobra head on the top of the Pharaoh's dress, right over his third eye. It had to do directly with the fact that the Pharaoh was receiving impartation from serpentine beings. Say what? The Nakash, the whisperer, was whispering to the pharaohs first and foremost. See, the kings of the earth and the rulers take counsel together against the Lord and against his anointed, saying, let us cut their bands asunder, let us get rid of them. And this is because the kings of the earth and the rulers, as told in Psalms 2 and 2, are directly getting their information in formation. They're getting formed by the things that they're told by these spirit beings, who are now spirit beings, but some of which were actually beings walking and talking in the physical in the third dimension. Now they do reside in another dimension. Some of the symbolism of this you can find in the story of Superman. I believe it was Superman 3, where General Zod and them was trapped in a particular prism. That was a analogy to what I'm talking about. So once these beings, these serpentine things, did what they did, and they crossed and broke certain laws, they were sent off to be imprisoned, if you will, in a particular dimension where they cannot freely come and go and roam in the third dimension. Paper almost blew away from me. To put this under some weight. But they can indeed come when invited. And some of us unknowingly invite them by the things that we do, some of which we learn through tradition. And tradition, you know, along with culture and along with costumes and customs. Tradition has to do with trading it. See trade right in the word tradition. Yes, we taught this lesson before in its entirety, but that was kind of long. Please believe I'm going to try to bottle this up really, really short and sweet. So you have to remember that when you are exhibiting a custom by way of your costume, you're relying on a particular ancient religion, an ancient tradition, keeping you tied to a legion or a group, a multitude of demons, which are usually led by the strong man of pride and rebellion, the strong men of pride and rebellion. There's two different demons, but they usually run together like cousins, like sleep and death. I never sleep, because sleep is the cousin of death. So you got cult and culture also. Same thing. Your culture is the cult you are. Right there in the spelling. You're a cult. See the your and the you're? And of course the ritual has to do with the rites. What rites? Your right to look like a fool, and also the right as in the York rite and the Scottish rite. So when you're wearing a kilt, or when you're wearing a Shendyt, as you saw Kanye West wearing the original version of the kilt, and people say, oh, Kanye got on the leather skirt. It's a little deeper than that. It had to do with the bisexual boule, with the bi-boule. True indeed. Because the serpentine beings, you know, you can put two snakes in a tank, and both of them be the same sex, and over time one of them would change to the opposite sex, so that, and I believe that's with two females. Somebody correct me. You know, I've never had snakes, but I know brothers that have, and told me that was absolutely true. But it's so that they can procreate. But also it has to do with an asexual nature of spiritual beings. The Most High cannot be surprised. He knew from the very beginning that these same physical beings that were once physical, walking and talking, whispering, if you will, in the physical, in the third dimension, because of the veil that they tore by breaking the universal laws that they broke, as a group, because you can have a hive mind as a group. Some people say, well, black people do this and white people do that, and it's never that simple. But you know that there are certain things that certain cultures are more used to doing than others, and it has to do with what they were taught from the very beginning. If we rewind it all the way back as far as we can, we will find a root to everything, and the root is a black thing to a certain degree, because before the black thing and the black king came the reptilian king. That's where the concepts of kings and queens and tribes and all those things come from. And that's why when you really do your due diligence and you research the word queen, some sisters know it and some do not. And so for those who still see its meaning in a certain light, then it's permissible. When in Rome, do as the Romans do. In certain instances, you have to speak the language of an individual if you want to get understanding understood, overstanding overstood. So, you know, for those reasons, I have to use this language. If I omitted all of the words and whatnot that I knew had some other connotation, I wouldn't be able to talk to you. Please believe that. But we're not locked in a box of books, and we overstand the relative meanings and definitions of certain things. But if you do your due diligence and your research, you will find the roots of queen and king to have to do with not such a nice thing. And so, but that, of course, begins with the fact of the origin of such concepts. I'm better than you. The original racism, the serpent race over the human race. So any racism that you have, whatsoever, if you believe that you're better because you're Jew, if you believe that you're better because you're black, a black supremacist, if you believe that you're better or you need to represent your particular culture or what you call your race, and your race should be either human or other than, then you have some issues, some pride issues. And that's okay, because we all have issues. But until you go through admission, guess what? You can't be healed in the hospital. And I try to have patience for the patients. So we're talking about a certain amount of pride and ego. Whether, when you look at, thank you, brother, for sending me that information about the Moors, because, I would take some pride in that at one particular time. And you can still find me from time to time, because we're all battling with certain things that we've been taught. You can find me from time to time using the word M-O-O-R instead of M-O-R-E, because I've done it for so long. But either way, either one you use is the same thing. Morehouse is spelled M-O-R-E, and that's to directly relate to M-O-O-R. So it's the same tonology. And again, if we took out all of the words that are offensive in some way, shape, or form, in reality, you find there are many cursed words beside the 4 and 5 letter ones that you ain't supposed to say around mom and grandma. And you better not say them around your mom and grandma. You respect the game. Don't be so game goofy. Don't be so heavenly bound you ain't no earthly good. So what's understanding is understood. So you know and you understand something, it ain't got to be explained to you. Come on. Don't be no goofy goober. Some of you is triple OGs, game goofy goobers. But pride, to believe, to be lion to Eve. That's the origin of believe. And pride, the lion has pride. A group of lions is called a pride, and there's no coincidence to that. Well, Jesus is called the Lion of the tribe of Judah. But the pride and the comparison of the devil to as a roaring lion go hand in hand as well. And the ego, which is not in and of itself a bad thing, but it's a bad thing if it rules you, like emotion when it rules you. Your ego, your emotions go. Emotion, energy in motion. Ego, energy go. So you want to be careful how you allow for your energy to go, because your ego can get out of control, and your head can get big as mouth. This Kango won't even fit on your head. Please believe it. So self-centeredness and self-awareness. Well, that's helped to be pumped through us all by false leadership, who take secret orders and oaths. The roots of traditions are found in occult practices. You know that the rulers of the Gentiles, let me read it straight up. You know that the rulers of the Gentiles lord it over them, and their high officials exercise authority over them, but it shall not be so among you. That's Matthew 20, 25 through 26. Also Mark 10 and 42 and Luke 22 through 25. The legalism of rituals, rites. That you write because you're signing an oath. Rights that you write, and your rights. I have a right to do what I want to do as thou wilt. All go together. Ritual or ritual. Please believe it. Your pastor, your pasture or sheep. Don't be sheeple. Be like the lamb. Minister. That do with administration. A minister is someone who is allowed to rule, like administration, and to set down law, to give you law. Reverend come from reverence. Now, rabbi, I thought was interesting because you add a T to the end and you got rabbit, but or a D, which is another T, and you got rabid, but it's right in the middle of the word directly, center. Directly center of the word that is the language of the people that are rabbis are usually preaching against, and that's Arabic, right in the middle. So again, we're being shown, and Bishop, I can say something about that buy shop, but enough is enough. So, and Jesus didn't like these terms. He said, don't call me master, and he said, don't call me rabbi. And Most High, please forgive me if ever I transgress subconsciously or consciously. Because I will say that Yeshua, Jesus is my master. But he avoided those terms, and so who are you? That means stop naming yourself. Stop claiming things that have to do with the flesh that you trapped in and the deceptions that was brought to you from the very beginning of time. All of your traditions go back to Kemet. Please believe that. All traditions go back to ancient Egypt, ancient Summer, the ancient black craft. That's why it's called black craft. In places like Louisiana, they don't say witchcraft like they say black craft. Big shout out to my buddy Wacko for telling me about that. But yeah, because at first I didn't know what he was talking about. He was like, yeah, you know, so-and-so was doing black craft. Like, huh? Black craft. But yeah, so that has to do with the fact that it was black who was first taught that, because they was first under attack. The rulers of the world, at one time, the kingdoms of Babylon, the kingdoms of Egypt, the kingdoms of Sumer, these were not places where white people ruled. I'm sorry. So the great civilizations that was built, and you got to reconsider that term great. Yeah, you enjoying that bone, ain't you, princess? Have mercy. Somebody having fun. But you got to look at that great. Great can mean big. It was a big civilization for sure. The Great Depression, that ain't supposed to mean it was good. Well, not to us anyway. Wink, wink. But the great civilizations, or so-called great civilizations that was built by the past people, were all inspired and guided by the fallen ones who inspired and guided them. If you don't understand the fallen ones, like Francis Cress Welsing says, until you understand white supremacy and its role in things, everything else that you think you understand will only confuse you. Well, I like to amend that somewhat and say, until you understand the fallen angels and their role in the development of man, everything else that you think you understand will only confuse you, because it's the root to technology, it's the root to religion, and it's the root to the customs, the costumes that you wear in your customs, and the cults of your culture. Please believe it. So we're going to tear that thing up, because it's part of creating the duality within you, making two yous, because you know somewhere inside of you that you ain't supposed to be walking around with that thing on. You know it. You know it. And you know, everybody in line on you. True, it's so many things in this culture that are right, that are perceived to be crazy, that it can throw you for a loop. You know, you can be a little thrown off by that. And you can believe that, well, yeah, you know, they laughed at Jesus, and blah, 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 so I'm going to wear this whatever, a jalabee, or whatever it may be. A kilt, per se. Well, consider the Scottish Rite. And I will indeed use this for the thumbnail. You need to see your main man, George W. And I don't mean Bush, but Washington. You need to see George Washington rocking his masonic kilt in all of his glory. And you see, without a doubt, that is the origin of the kilt, because they're wearing it for the Egyptian style of it. Please believe it. What came first? You gonna tell me that Ireland, Scotland came before Egypt? You a new fool, and I ain't an old one. Call no man fool. Relax. Take the starch out your shorts. Okay, so from Shendyt to kilt, how duality is built. Take no oath. Matthew 5:34, James 5:12. The little skirt is representative of the oath takers. Please believe it. You don't have to. Hear me now, believe me later. The little skirt is representative of rebellion against God, because it's to represent the wear that the Most High had to fashion because of the lie that was told by Lucifer to Adam and Eve. You say, well, he didn't lie, he told them the truth. Well, you in a Masonic trick bag already. Please believe it. If you see that story that way, you looking at things awful simple. Remember, the overstanding of the Most High is greater than your overstanding could ever be. That's the only true overstanding. You understanding everything when you're dealing with the Most High. Please believe it. If your creator is so game goofy that you can overstand everything they doing and every reason that they doing something, you ain't got much of a creator. Think about that. How arrogant is that of you? Well, it don't make sense to me, so it can't be. Beep, beep, beep. Sit down somewhere. Sit down, clown. The little skirt and I'm going to call it that, whether it's the Shendyt, whether it's the Jollibee, whether it's the Kilt, the little skirt is representative of rebellion against the Most High God. Now. Well, in the ancient times, that's what they all wore. Yeah, they all wore what the reptilian had them in. So I'm not to say that, the Most High did not inspire whoever made pants. Who made pants? Worldwide Pants, David Letterman's company. Who made pants? Somebody do some due diligence on that. I didn't. But I'm not a game goofy goober. Follow the laws of the land. Don't let your good be evil spoken of. What a man wear, not supposed to be what a woman wear. All of that. So you got to take everything in totality. 360 degrees forward and back. And the practicality of that in fighting. Let me tell you something. If you got on a skirt nowadays, and you're going to try to fight with me, homeboy, you're going to be awful embarrassed. Please believe it. It is really to represent the first covering of the transgression of Adam and Eve. And the Most High has allowed certain things in history that no longer does he allow. Let's get down into it now. That's right. You think you can have 4, 5 wives? Or how about you procreate with your family members? Well, no, we don't do that anymore. Well, we don't wear skirts no more neither, my brother. Go get you some 501s. Well, Levi, I'm a priest. I wear Levi's. Somebody tell me something about Levi's. I know Levi Strauss is some kind of Illuminati family. If it's named after a person, it's some kind of Illuminati family. So you find me some jeans ain't named after nobody. There goes that paper. Hold on. No, it can't. We might need that for later, you guys. I've gone back to that one a couple times. That's the custom costume paper. Prince of the Power of the Air tried to blow it away from there. I have a little fun. Just a little bit. Not much. I'm about to go eat in a minute too. I stayed up awful late for you guys last night. And yes, thank you for giving me the one up that they still playing around with my voice. You know, Ali was awful quick of the lip. And I'm nowhere. I'm a peon. I'll never be beyond. You know, my mentors and heroes in certain respects. You know, there's only one, because Heru is where you get hero from, and that's the false son. So the only real one to look up to is the real son. But at the same time, I admired Ali's wit that just wouldn't quit. And you know, they gave him Parkinson's. What a coincidence. The same man whose show he was always on when he was going hard, hamburger off the lip. The same guy whose show he was on, this guy gets the disease. First of all, so both of them was talking too much. That's what that's about. They gave them both this disease that disabled, their ability to bump their gums like 808 drums. And, you know, I'm swift-lipping and ego-tripping sometimes. But I do it just to keep this somewhat entertaining, because it's not like I got, you know, the greatest production value or anything like that going on. So this is how the Lord is compensating for that. The Lord? There's only one true and living. Anyway, so you can believe me or you can believe academia. You do your research, academia would tell you it's all good to wear a skirt. Well, academia will also tell you that it's okay for a man to love a man and for a woman to love a woman. And I don't mean Christian love neither. So you want to believe what they say. Everything you get, all you proud Commission and proud Scottish brothers and sisters, you're getting everything that you basing your very belief systems off of from the same people who belong to societies that are sworn to secrecy, are not telling you the truth. Now, if that ain't a game goof, you really goofing up. This is chess, not checkers. Man up and mind up. Tunics, as they were called in Grecian times. They wore them too, and you know what Greek style is. I bet somebody gonna look that up. Make sure you got your filter on before you do. Men and women wore tunics. Men and women wore tunics. Men ain't supposed to wear what women do. Well, where does it say that? Why you want to wear what a woman wear? Let's examine that. Well, in ancient times, prove it or move it. Sit down somewhere. Men ought not wear what women do. Deuteronomy 22:5 and 1 Timothy 2:9. It's about being shameful, getting the wrong attention. It's about having people speak evil of your good. When you're trying to do something good and all they can do is fixate on what you got on, are you bringing glory to the Most High? Are you bringing attention to yourself? Self-centeredness. To want to be the center of attention. It's womanish and it's childish. When I was a child, I spake as a child. When I became a man, I put away childish things. Yes, I used to be off into that same thing too. I called myself, I'm in thought. I was really into it. Back when X-Clan was out. So don't think you're going to tell me nothing new. Nothing new. Nothing new. Them not saying nothing new. So now when you got something new to say about it, maybe we'll debate a little bit. But until then, please sit. A Shendyt is not the Shiznit. Kanye, racial pride will get you fried. Please believe it, because I'm going to fry you every chance I get. You get fried, dyed, and laid to the side. Pride comes before the fall. It's why they fail. Vainglorious. That's how you say it. Professor X kind of shirked the shirked the vein by saying van. Which is, that's how the dictionary gives you the diction, the same way they give you the diction of coincidence as coincidence, so you forget what's inside the word. Same thing with vainglorious. You forget that vain is right there in the word. Vanity, which comes from Venus. And some of these things came from Venus too. They was teaching the pharaohs. How do you know? Look on the temple of Hathor. Hathor. Serpent beings on the temple of Hathor. They was kicking it with the kings and queens of Egypt way back then. And they was giving them all the game. This is how you control the people. They taught them mind control. They taught them how to control the people to where the people would be confused. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. That means confusion. Project Janus. And that's part of confusion. It's part of sexual confusion. And it's also part of confusing the people that are watching you. All of them ain't going to get a chance to stand there and talk to you where you can explain for 20 minutes why you got on a dress. Or, well, look it up, my brother. This is such and such and such. You're being rebellious. And rebellion is as of the sin of witchcraft. Don't play games with me. I know the math. Which math? 720. Ain't nothing funny. Pride cometh before the fall. It's why they fail. Pride connects to rebellion. Those two demons hang together. The rebel lion, like I taught before. The rebel lion is the lion that, like a lion, seeks for whom he may devour, going to and fro. And you know who that is. We don't give him no power. Because we're breaking that chain. Break that chain. You still chained back to something thousands of years ago you don't even know nothing about. And you think it's all good because it's about you? How racist of you. Don't let your good be evil spoken of. Romans 14 and 16. Lord, please protect my reputation. Whew. I'm a mess. Somebody help me. Pray for me, y'all. Kingdom Kid, keep them prayers coming. Pray for me. A good reputation is better to be had. Proverbs 22 and 1. Ecclesiastes 7 and 1. Men ought not wear what women do. Deuteronomy 22 and 5. 1 Timothy 2 and 9. What's up to Detroit's finest? Precious say. Obey the laws of the land, lest you be in rebellion. Romans 13, 1 through 7. And rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft. What up, Trey? Represent Detroit all day. 1 Samuel 15 and 23. And Brother Minister Mike evangelizing in Saginaw. And lastly, have some game about yourself. Don't be a game goofy goober. That's a triple OG. Yes, dear. Got something for me to share. Thank you so much. Okay, and we finna close this down because it's about that time for me to eat. And 30 minutes is as long as this needs to be complete. So, and lastly, have some game about yourself. Don't be a game goofy goober. What's understood don't need to be explained. You know when you're being disruptive or vanity is controlling you. That's right. It's girlish to be so pressed for attention or childish. And that's all I believe I have to mention. Right? Don't be a vanity hound. You know, you want attention in the wrong way. You're going to get negative attention too if you're walking around with a dress on. In today's society, follow the laws of the land today. You're a man today. You're not a man thousands of years ago. You don't have 4, 5 wives. You can't do everything they did back then. Why you pick that to do? Think about it. Special ed. Don't be in special ed. God bless the children. Shalom.